Get my water, and we are live.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Cut Up's Filmers Review. Episode 4, I think. Yeah, we didn't do the one for the first week. So
Correct.
Yeah. So anyway, brought to you by Amazing Blue Review. I am staff writer Trevor McCue here as always with Mr. Toski. Toski, how you doing, brother?
Doing all right. Happy Monday. You get a win at Iowa. You cover the spread. Nothing better than that, man. That's all you can ask for.
No, that's a great point. I think I've seen a lot of people maybe not satisfied with what I would consider a big win at Iowa. And honestly, something came to my attention this week on one of my stock up reports. Somebody had asked me a question about, because I said Olu's been above average. He's been consistent. He's been good in the run game, pass game, but hasn't been that elite guy we were hoping he would be.
Yep.
And they said, hey, how does he compare to Vistardis at this point last year? So that's a good question. Let me check. Blew him out of the water.
Really?
Like better than him in every single category. Significantly better in pass protection. And I realized, I think I'm guilty of comparing the 2022 Michigan Wolverines today to the 2021 Michigan Wolverines right after they beat Ohio State.
That's a great point.
So, the game last week with Maryland kind of reminded us of that week 4 game against Rutgers. We wondered, would this game maybe remind us of last year's game at Wisconsin, which was, of course, the 30th game in a row that was the most important game in Harbaugh's career, right? But the point is, Michigan went on the road. They covered. Maybe Iowa's down a little bit, but still, number 1 defense in the country. And it all started with the first offensive drive of the game. I texted you immediately afterwards. I'm like, this is what we got to cover. It's the best drive I've seen all year. So that's what we're going to start with. We're going to cover that first offensive drive, and then we are going to also cover – I know it's not the last defensive drive. Michigan put in some backups and let Iowa march down the field for a late touchdown, unfortunately. But that 4 and out where Morris and Oki team up for 4 sacks, hits, we're definitely going to dive into that. Awesome. So, Toski, whenever you're ready, buddy.
I call that one the clincher. We'll get to that.
Yeah, there we go. I like it. Because every time I try to explain it to somebody, they're like, "You where Iowa scored." I'm like, no.
Yeah. So we're covering the drive that set the tone, and then the one that closed the tone, right? That kind of said, "Yep, we're closing the door." So I
should let you do it. You nailed it.
Let's dive right into offense right here. First play, and we're going through every single play. So not every play on this first drive was successful. But we're going to look at every single play, see what happened, break it down a little bit. So first one right here, this is Blake Corum, and this doesn't seem like that big of a play, right? Let's watch it in slow-mo real quick one more time. Last year, 2021, Corum gets 2 yards on this, right? Boom, meets a defensive tackle. He added, 15 pounds of muscle, whatever it is. He picks up 4 yards there. So that's really huge. Breaking down what the actual play is, zone blocking up front. Key block here that doesn't go Michigan's way really is this double between Oluwatimi and your right guard, Zinter. The thought process here, double here, reach to the linebacker, single block Trent Jones, double block here, single block backside, right? And that's what you're looking at. The issue here with that double right here, I'll circle it. This double right here, you're going to have Zinter fall off, right? So Oluwatimi will come off of this to get to the linebacker level. So then it's one-on-one between Zinter and that defensive tackle. So boom, there's Oluwatimi releasing towards the linebacker here. But you'll see your right guard is shucked, right? You see Zinter on the ground here, and you got a free defensive tackle right in the hole, right? If this is well blocked, it's a good block from Trent Jones. You could have a crease here, right? If you're able to turn the hips inwards here on this defensive tackle, but he isn't, right? Everything else backside doing well. This other double, you're forming this wall sort of here. You're getting to the second level. But this just shows that one block, right, doesn't get there. Defensive tackle in the hole. But again, this should only be 2 yards, right? It's defensive tackle against a 5'8" running back. But that extra poundage that Corum put on in the weight room this offseason, this takes it from a 2nd and 8 to a 2nd and 6. That right there, falling forward, and that's 2 extra yards, and that sets up Michigan in a very advantageous position. So again, that's all it is against Iowa. Get in advantageous positions, stay ahead of the sticks, don't get behind schedule, and good things will happen.
Yep, absolutely. This is what made Hassan Haskins great. Was always getting those extra couple yards, like you said, keeping the offense on schedule.
Yep.
Just for script's sake, because I was just blown away with the script on this drive. We've got McCarthy under center and a straight give to Corum on that first play.
Moving on to the second play here, 2nd and 6. Shotgun, you got Corum on the right. twin wide receivers on either side here. Here, another simple handoff. This one more successful. But again, look at just the end of the play, right? He gets 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. If he didn't get those extra 2 yards, right, you're looking at 3rd and short. Nothing easy against Iowa in a 3rd and short scenario. So just going back to first down there, that's a really big deal that this is 2nd and 6. Opens up your playbook quite a bit more. Looking at the blocking here, again, zone blocking up front. Trying to see if there's a read. There isn't really anyone left unblocked. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go back here. There's no one left unblocked here, right? Usually, if you're going with this sort of action, there would be someone. The eyes of McCarthy would be over here. But looking at the box, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in the box here for Iowa. That's just a straight up R5 against your 5 and see what happens, right? So there's no real read here. This is seemingly a give all the way. There's possibly a scenario where this is a read, but right here, the only possibility I could possibly see is he's reading the reaction of this defensive back, because you do have this sort of blocking out here, little screen action here. So it's possible if he adds himself into the box, right, you can throw this screen. So now that I think about it, that's possibly what he's seen, because this guy stays home. There's your 5-on-5, and it's a winning matchup to run that ball. So again, there's a lot of looks you can do out of that, right? If they add another box player here, McCarthy could keep it and run. In this case, it looks like he's reading this boundary defender here because he's staying home, 5-on-5. And here you have a little crease for Blake Corum to squeeze through. So what's the blocking here? Again, main play side double that you're seeing. Really good block from Ryan Hayes on the outside right here. He's going to have one-on-one at this defensive end. You're going to get double on this defensive tackle, reach to the linebacker, and this is your key block right here, right? This is forming this sort of wall for this lane for Blake Corum to go through. Not the greatest job, right? Good initial, maybe a yard downfield. Oluwatimi getting to that linebacker. He does a good job turning his hips, right? Oluwatimi is there. And right now it's looking pretty good, right? You're losing a little bit with Zinter, but you have a head up on this double team. Look how far displaced, right? This is a full 2 yards from the line of scrimmage. So you're looking good here. Issue is he just comes off the block, right? Look at where the hat placement is. This is where the hole is supposed to be. Ideally, you would like your guard's hat to be on the other side here, really form this crease, because it isn't, right? That makes the job a little bit easier for both the eyes and the technique of the defensive tackle there to shed and then get a hand on Blake Corum to slow him down. And then Ryan Hayes does lose number 13 there, so they kind of both slow him down there. But again, Blake Corum falling forward, gets the first down, and you move those chains. So again, things don't have to go perfectly for you to stay on track on offense. And even though you're not able to hold those blocks too long here, you're able to get enough movement to really keep your offense moving and get those sticks moving. And that's 6 yards. You'll take that any day.
Again, from a script standpoint, I thought this play call was brilliant. So you called it out, Toski, but actually both receivers at the top and the bottom are setting up for a screen. Next to them, 2 tight ends. Michigan's only got 5 offensive linemen. Very often there's a tight end on that line, right?
Right.
Only 5 in. I don't think this was a true RPO. I think this was a pre-snap read. They knew they had 5 in the box, so it was going to be a give. But again, from a script standpoint, setting up Iowa here, you see Cornelius, Bell, both are stopping for a screen there. JJ's doing the action of a keep.
Yep.
So this is something, again, just setting up from a script standpoint, setting Iowa up. I thought that was a great call going against tendency. And then, hey, you got Iowa to only put 5 in the box against Blake Corum? Yes, sir. I'll take the free first down.
Yep, you'll do that. And even Iowa and beyond, right? You put this on film and you make defenses just hesitate. Maybe you're not throwing this screen. You're not doing that true read here. But you're putting on film, you're making defenses have to prepare for multiple options on any given play. So just throw in that extra faith, throw in that little screen action, and you open up your offense for quite a bit. All right, fresh set of downs here, 3rd play on the drive. First throw of the game, I believe, and it's a simple out concept. Let's see if I'm correct here. Yep, I memorized it. Boom. There he is. Yep. Nice, quick. I mean, again, this is what the arm strength of J.J. McCarthy will get you. Nothing complicated on the outside here. You're going to get 2 out routes here from your tight end and Roman Wilson. So just boom, out route, clear out here. I believe that's Ronnie Bell. I think it's Cornelius Johnson at the top, but really we're only looking at this side of the field. This is a quick read for J.J. McCarthy here. And just look at the distance, right? There's a lot of distance here between the cornerbacks. They play off quite often in Michigan. I watched it on film against Rutgers last week for Iowa. Their corners are really far off. So they'll give you these 5-yard outs, right? They'll give you that. And because of just the velocity and well-placed ball here from JJ McCarthy, you get so many extra yards, right? You already have this defensive back reacting to this throw, right? Ball's in the air. But because of how quick that throw gets out there, Roman Wilson's able to, now he has the catch secured, able to turn upfield, and that goes from a 4 or 5 yard gain. Now he gets 7 yards out of it. And again, second and 4 is very different from a 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6. So just little things about having that level of talent on the field, being able to just execute these, what seem like simple throws, but how many throws like this do we see Spencer Petras miss and get behind schedule, right? It's just about executing the small things, setting up your offense really well in second down, give them the whole playbook. So I'm glad that they watched that film, realized the alignment, right? This is another pre-snap read, kind of what you're saying of how far off are they? How quick can we get these throws off? And what is the spacing going to look like for a given play like that? So it looks simple because it is. And I like that they're just taking the available yards that the defense is giving to them.
Take what they give you. Absolutely. You're playing against the number 1 scoring defense in the country, and they're going to give you 8 yards on Roman Wilson in the slot. Okay, we're taking that, right? So, yeah, just another example. Michigan is in its 3rd different set here. Now we have a tight end on the line. Our top 3 receivers, 1 in the slot. And, yeah, just taking what they give you. And, again, JJ probably makes that look easier than it is, but that's what you want. You want to get him comfortable, especially early on. So, again, love the play call. Another 2nd and short. JJ makes an easy throw, and Iowa's still guessing because we've run 3 different sets at them out the gate.
Yep, absolutely. All right, here we are, 2nd and 3. So we picked up 7 yards on that, not just 6. So 2nd and 3, you can do a lot of things here, right? 3rd and 3 isn't that scary anymore. So you can do a lot of different sets here, and a really nice decision here from JJ McCarthy. I think he was probably a little bit too safe. I think he had a lot of yards, but I love that they are being safe and protecting your quarterback here a little bit because, again, what's the purpose of the play? Get a fresh set of downs against Iowa. You don't need to hit too many home runs. They'll give you some yards. Just execute consistently, and you'll put some points on the board. So you're pulling your left guard here. Got Ryan Hayes coming through the hole here. This is your read player here on the edge, number 13. So this is where the eyes of JJ McCarthy are going, right? This guy's unblocked. You're looking at the box here. You have 5 blockers. Again, leading through the hole here, and you're expecting there to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think this is a little bit of a miss block from the offensive line. You could argue maybe this guy's in the box, but they're actually bringing down this safety into the box. So when you're looking for sheer numbers, these are the 5 guys you have to block here. Let's move forward just to show you where I think Michigan messed up a little bit here. So you see this double team on the defensive tackle here. Oluwatimi is going to release looking for a backside linebacker. But really, if you look at the alignment, right, you need these guys manned up against the wide receivers here. So there's no one really for Oluwatimi on this double team once he releases to block here, right? So it's actually not a super well-blocked play because the safety is coming down here. You have the linebacker here. This is what you would expect Ryan Hayes to pick up through the hole. If this was a give, right, then you would be meeting the safety here. So if this guy did stay home, right, if this guy didn't go down the line of scrimmage and stayed home, I think Iowa probably would have gotten this just with the blocking, right? Oluwatimi is blocking air, and when you're looking for 5-on-5 in the box and you're adding a 5th here with nobody blocked, right, you got to have the first linebacker here if you're Ryan Hayes. This play might be dead to rights here. But luckily for us, you got a set of wheels on JJ McCarthy, and he reads this correctly, right? Number 13's path takes him down the line of scrimmage. And this is also what Blake Corum gives you, right? They're starting to key in on him and say, you know what? We're kind of not wanting this guy to get 200 yards against us today. Let's scream down the line of scrimmage. And that's about as easy of a read that you can get for JJ McCarthy, right? Good pull here. And, I see this avenue right here, right? You got a good block here, block on the wide receiver. Really, you can see quite a bit of avenue here. There's no chance for anyone here, really no chance for these guys. This is your best shot, this safety. JJ McCarthy decides to go to the outside here, right? And you can understand that, protect your quarterback. And I'm not gonna rag on him too much because it seems like they're telling him, hey, take the yards, get safe, get out of bounds. But I probably would have liked him to maybe get here and dive forward. I don't like sliding in the scenario because sometimes they'll already be diving and you can get your head hit against the turf. But in this scenario, he decides to bounce, right? Picks up, I think probably 7 yards here instead of probably 10-ish or 12-ish. But hey, you get the first down. Again, you're playing safe, and first downs are good against this Iowa team. So I'm not going to complain about it, but probably left some yards on the table. What are your thoughts there, Trevor?
I think this was Iowa trying to find out if J.J. McCarthy had the ability or the authority, whatever, to keep the football.
Yeah.
Right. That defensive end is crashing on Corum. They're not even considering whether J.J. will keep it. And Michigan doesn't really care if this play is successful. Michigan wants Iowa to think J.J. can keep the football.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why he doesn't go upfield. I think they told him, look, if the keep's there, you take it, you get out right away. Because now, after watching the tape against Maryland, right, we questioned whether JJ was actually allowed to run it or not. Now Iowa has to assume he can, right?
Right.
So again, 4 plays in, we've seen different formations, we've seen RPO, and we've seen JJ keep it. So Iowa has no idea now. Like Michigan's saying, we're going to open up the playbook against you.
Right.
We are willing to do it. And so again, he does get the first down. Could he have gotten more? Sure. But what he got was for the rest of the game, the Iowa defense honoring JJ keeping the football.
And that's a great point. How much can you learn, right, from your tendencies, from what you saw on film? What are you learning about how Iowa's prepped for this game? The earlier you can learn that, the better off you are in knowing how to call the game moving forward. You know their reaction to these certain plays. That's information you can use in your play calling moving forward. Earlier you get that intel, the better off you can call the game moving forward. So it's a great point.
Yep.
All right, 5th play here. Nice little, I don't even know what you call that. Kind of a boot, delayed boot action. Nice kind of back shoulder throw here. But he's going to set for a second, right? He's looking low here. Looks he's looking just a little bit at this. And this is probably to try to get the reaction of these safeties to go this way based off the initial eyes. That's what I'm thinking, to try to isolate him to not get this safety to creep over this way. Looks like they're in cover 3, got all 3 of these defensive backs in deep thirds here. And this is a really good route tree to take advantage of that. So this guy will be going to the flat. I think this guy is man-to-man here. So that might be what J.J. McCarthy was checking here. If this guy isn't in man-to-man, if he's coming on a blitz or something, because if they're in a true zone, right, just seeing that reaction, maybe there would have been something open here. We got middle here. He's going to go out to the flat. And actually, I think this linebacker is actually on Blake Corum out of the backfield man-to-man as well. So let's look at just these defenders real quick on this first run through. You can kind of see the reaction of where the linebacker is going. 44 actually has the center of the field. So they're actually they're running man-to-man backside here, right? And then what they're doing is they're kind of shifting this over. So this guy isn't true third over here. He's more in this scenario. So you're kind of cutting down the zones a little bit. They're a lot smaller here because you're condensing this with man coverage here. 44 can sit in the middle here as 31 takes the running back out of the backfield. This guy does have true flat responsibilities. So that's the coverage we're looking at here. And this is a nice levels concept for the offense to kind of take advantage of that. What I mean is you're saying your outermost wide receiver just on a fly route, right? And that's going to occupy this defensive back. He has to follow him, respect that deep ball. And what that's going to open up here is Roman Wilson, right? Who's the next guy that has the outermost leverage to cover this deeper out route? It's going to be this guy. And that's a really tough matchup against a speedy Roman Wilson to actually take that. He's not going to be able to react quickly enough to get over there. He actually does admirably to get there. And it's a good reaction from the defensive back when the ball is thrown, right, to kind of abandon that. Defensive back does come up pretty quick on this out route. So give credit to Iowa for kind of creating this contested catch here. But it's a good read from J.J. McCarthy, right? Initial eyes, boom, that's man. Let's work over here to our levels, right? You got your 3 levels deep. Try to occupy this for enough time. Open up your deeper out here. You can look at the flat here, see if you got leverage against this linebacker flying down. And that's kind of what you're looking at in general for this sort of 3 different types of receivers. And again, it's about getting J.J. McCarthy on the move, right? Utilize those legs, get him moving, and see what happens. So it's a good read, good ball, well-timed, just a good reaction from the defensive back to come up and challenge that. But that is the right throw, and give a lot of credit to Roman Wilson for having strong hands there, going up and catching the ball. So again, I think we've at least I have kind of gotten spoiled by these throws, right? This is on the move.
Throw.
That's a tough throw.
It is
really well placed. No one can really have a that's really tough for anybody to really contest that. So it's well placed ball, decently timed. Maybe could have been a little earlier, but I mean, we're splitting hairs at this point, right? That's on the run. Just a tad behind him, but Roman Wilson, when you're a Power 5 wide receiver, you're expecting to catch that 99% of the time. So yeah, I like to see them connecting on this, get Roman Wilson involved, take advantage of that zone, right? You're going to find pockets. It's just about being well-timed and executing well. And Michigan's doing that on this drive consistently.
Yeah, another play. Look, we're trying to get JJ comfortable. Like you said, we've been spoiled by this because we know JJ is good bootlegging to the right.
Yep.
He just is. It's a strong suit. Similar defense to what Maryland ran a few times. Like you said, great job by Michigan by actually executing some levels here on the route tree, giving him a chance. Roman peeks over at that corner, makes sure that he is going with Corum. Then he knows he's got a shot to get the ball. And I don't know if that's high or behind or if that's intentional. Because if you're thinking about the defender in front and then the defender coming, that might be the best spot to put the ball, right? So
yeah, it's a good question. Yeah,
maybe Jay would say that's what he meant to do, but I don't know. But that feels like the best spot to put the ball, given where the defenders are.
Yeah, you're right. Look at all the space here compared to right here with the momentum, the hips of the defensive back. That's not a bad miss, right? And when you're thinking of like, where can I miss this ball safely? It's not the worst place with the reaction of that defensive back. The defensive back right here, he has to hold up, right? He has to reroute to try to challenge that, and that ball is not where that defensive back was expecting. So you're right. With these crafty defensive backs, you got to be careful. Turnovers are your worst enemy, especially against Iowa, and you can't give them easy outs, and it's a well-placed ball. So I think you're absolutely right in calling that out. All right, let's move into this next play here. Another fresh set of downs here. What is this? Play number 6 on the drive. And we get another pass here. This looks like a simple play. Iowa, give them a lot of credit for responding well to this. This is a tough throw. Just looking at the throw real quick, right? Just a simple swing pass, but there's not a whole lot of room for error for this, right? You're going to have your defensive end flying upfield here. You don't want to put too far in front of him. You don't want to throw it behind him because that's pretty much a fumble. And this window, right? You want to deliver it in front because this is all about momentum, right? You got blockers out front. You really don't want it to be high or low to take away the speed of Donovan Edwards coming out of the backfield here. It really needs to be right there in the breadbasket and not take him out of his stride for there to be any success there. So it's really well-placed ball here. This is more about just numbers for Iowa and a really good reaction, right? So I think Michigan probably gets what they want, right? There's nothing real special about this play. This is just we're going to block the first 3 guys we have on the outside here, right? And we're going to expect this one-on-one battle between the safety and Donovan Edwards, and we like that matchup. I think that's it, right? This isn't really a realistic expectation to get a tight end here out to the safety, so that's why he's going to the linebacker instead. So this is just, hey, we think our running back will be able to beat your safety one-on-one here and trust that your other wide receivers and tight end will get the blocks to open this up. So it's a well-placed ball. Just good reaction there from the safety here, right? And I think what Michigan really wants is this safety to kind of fly down, right? The quicker he flies down, the earlier decision for Donovan Edwards can be to try to put a juke on, anything like this. But he does a really good job breaking down, right? Breaking down, kind of closing that space, making it tougher for Donovan Edwards to find any of that space to make that first move. So he does kind of bubble out to the outside here. Donovan Edwards commits to the outside. It's just a good job from the safety able to trip him up. So really, I think Michigan got what they wanted here. I think this is just a good play from, I believe that's Merriweather, the safety, and give him credit, right? Sometimes you'll get a guy who can make a play, and at this point, Iowa does that. Give credit to is this AJ Henning with a pancake-esque block here on the outside, right? Kind of loses initially, but then takes him out. So, hey, you can lose a play and still win, right, if you're a blocker. So give credit to Iowa on this one. Pick up 3 yards, so not total loss. But yeah, this one I think just got to tip your hat a little bit to the Hawkeyes.
I'm trying to see the number. Is that a 4? Is that Walker?
Oh, you could be right. You could be right. That might be a Maureen Walker. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. Oh, it cuts off. Let's see if I have
I think it's Walker.
You could be right.
So
that or Angelo Anthony. It's one of those two.
Yeah, it could be a one. Yeah. Again, I'm going to keep beating this horse because the script was perfect. First time we've seen Michigan in the same offensive set on this drive. And guess what? Donovan Edwards is back on the field, and we're going to throw to him the very first play he steps on the field.
Yep.
And we're going to throw a screen. Again, I've shown you JJ will keep the ball. I'll show you we're going to involve Donovan Edwards. I've shown you we'll line up under center. I've shown you we'll bootleg. 6 plays in? And again, Michigan is saying we are going to do all of these things that you thought about all week.
Right. Yep. Set them up. Get that fear into them of JJ's legs, Donovan Edwards on a screen, and see the reaction. Just learn what you can. Here we are, 2nd and 7. Hand off to Blake Corum. Such elite start and stop. Let me make sure I have a better angle on this one. I do. Okay. So just really nice job here. Get the handoff, and then just ready, set, go. Boom, there he goes. So let's go to the other angle here just to kind of look at the play design a little bit. So it looks like this could possibly be another RPO sort of action, right? You have both your outside wide receivers here kind of what I'll call stalk blocking, where they're kind of sizing up the outside guys. You have Ronnie Bell on this sort of orbit motion here. Eyes for J.J. McCarthy, likely on this defender. That's what I'm expecting, trying to see the reaction here, right? Whether this is a true read or not, kind of what you were saying earlier, see the reaction of the defense in this scenario, right? If we back up just a little bit, we're counting numbers again. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 4 down linemen, 5, 6. So why do you read this guy, right? If he comes down here, then that's 6 against 7. That's losing numbers if you're going to have this handoff here. If this guy stays back, then that means that you're going to have the numbers that you need to block this play successfully. So if he does come down, you're going to have a little screen action here with one-on-one blocks to the outside. If that doesn't happen, then go with the opposite. So that's, again, what you have by having that sort of orbit motion, that little fake here, whether or not it was a true read. That's where the eyes do look because he stayed home, right? Because that defensive back is respecting Ronnie Bell here. That's why you don't see the throw there. Looking at the blocking here real quick, we'll go to the end zone view for that. Nothing too complex, just zone blocking on the front side. Trent Jones throws down the defensive end here. Looks like a wrestling move right here. One-on-one block for Zinter. You got a 2-on-1 Oluwatimi and Keegan. And you'll have a release here to the second level on the linebacker. And then, you got Schoonmaker coming out here, one-on-one block for Hayes. So let's move forward here. Look at the progress. Oluwatimi is looking, right? You see after that double, right, 55 right in the center there. He's coming off of that double, and he's looking. He's saying, all right, where are we at? Looking for that extra block. He decides to pick up that linebacker that Schoonmaker also picks up. I think ideally you would like Oluwatimi to get out to 30-31 here. I believe that's Jack Campbell, if I know my Iowa linebackers like everyone should. So I would like to get him there. It's a tough block for Schoonmaker, so you can understand that, right? Schoonmaker coming from the wing position here, trying to get a linebacker, that's a really tough job. So I don't really ding Oluwatimi for taking the closer guy here, assisting there. And Blake Corum just hits the hole. One thing I really like Blake Corum does here on this handoff, look at just this little hesitation, right? Just that little skip. And what that does, that kind of freezes the linebackers a little bit, right? Where's he actually going to cut? He hasn't committed to anything yet. It gives time for Oluwatimi to get to that second level. So it's all about timing here. When are you going to commit if you're a linebacker? And you get that extra half step there from Oluwatimi to commit to his block. And he gains that intel and hits that hole quickly, right? I don't think the end zone view really does it justice. What that cut gives, that extra time, boom, and then he just fires out of a cannon, right? And that's just really tough. As soon as contact is made, right, good luck. Like at 2nd and 7, boom, he gets hit at the 30. Guess what? Those legs are still moving. He falls forward for another 1.5 yards. Now it's 3rd and inches. So exactly what you want. Well-blocked play. Again, everyone pretty much wins their blocks here. Only thing is these are Iowa linebackers, and they're going to be in position, right? So you'll take that if you're Michigan. When your first contact is 5 yards and you got a running back who can pick up an extra 1.5 yards there, you're going to take 3rd and inches all day against the Hawkeyes.
Corum's a horse, man. Those legs are unbelievable. What was he said? A guy that does 600-pound squats, right? I mean, he's
Crazy.
full of speed after two. It's incredible. First play, we've seen the heavy motion with Bell coming across. Michigan obviously loves that just for the play design. And then also it's an obvious tell of zone versus man. So, but yeah, just Blake Corum being Blake Corum, man. Dude's a beast.
Yeah, he's a monster. All right, moving into play number 7 on the drive here. 3rd and 1, 3rd and short. Not a whole lot else to say about this play besides beef. All right, this is just time to get into the butt of your offensive line and pick up that yard. Right?
Quite literally on this one.
Seriously. So this is, I think, again, we have a better view of this. Yep, a little bit closer here. So this is all about just getting your hat across. Okay, so what I mean by that is just get your hat in, form this wedge, and don't let anybody inside this wedge. So what I mean by wedge, just look at this is the goal of the line here, is just form this wedge, give your running back, there's no real hole that you need to do here. This is all just about drive. Just push. You're not really looking for a hole. You're just looking for movement, right? And it's a good job, especially on your left side here from Ryan Hayes. And that's Joel Honigford here, getting this sort of double on this defensive end, getting movement, right? All you need is about half a yard here, and they get that right there. Blake Corum sees that, right? One thing you would like to see better is that right side. You can see a guy leaking through. I think that's against Schoonmaker. It's a tough block, right? He's kind of from this wing position here. It's not an easy block because he has to close this gap, right? It's a really good job from his defensive end, but he's going to sneak down the line of scrimmage. The best thing he can do is just attach himself to the hip. Just close this gap as quick as possible, because letting the guy in here to try to take out the legs here of Corum, right? That's the easiest way for Iowa to actually stop that. So I think you're slow out of your stance there. You notice at the snap, right? Offensive line is going to be able to react a little bit quicker, but look how late your tight end here, right? You got the first step already happening. He's not even out of his set yet. So defensive line, he's going to have a half step at least to work inside there. So you're late, and you can't be late if you're that defensive end. Look at that gap, right? That's way too big of a gap. He recovers nicely. I mean, not really, but you're lucky enough that where that wedge decision here for Blake Corum is slanted to the left side. And you got good push on the left side, but you definitely need to do better on the right side there if you're Luke Schoonmaker, to ensure that does not happen again. Because if this was, a little bit better of a defensive end, or just a different scenario where, maybe you need to look right here, right behind the center where there's a little bit more space, this guy's making the play instead of being on the backside. So you got to watch that. But, hey, that's what having 3rd and inches and a successful 1st and 2nd down gets you, where you can have a misplay from one player and it makes things scarier, but not a catastrophe.
You remember the debate about who was going to be the short yardage running back, Khalil Mullings, Tavir Dunlap, right? This play and Blake Corum is the new short yardage play, because this is the 4th and 1 against Maryland that Corum took to the house, right?
Yep.
We've actually seen this a couple times in short yardage spots. What's happening here is this staff just trusts Blake Corum to get that yard or two, to be able, if he can bounce outside, find a different lane, or in this situation, like you said, as designed, just get into the butt of the offensive lineman. But they trust Corum, man. That's all this is.
Absolutely. And it's a luxury when you have a guy who can hit a home run, and also you can trust.
Get you a yard or 100, right? It's crazy.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, here we go. Fresh set of downs here inside the 30, just outside the red zone. Little play action. Love this play. Couldn't connect with Ronnie Bell. This was the play where I was like, okay, JJ's going to be all right in this game. Love this little orbit motion you got out of Roman Wilson here. And again, you're learning a lot from this play. Got a lot of communication here on the backside. But what you have here, as you get this little sort of fake option here, right here, this fake, what you learn, even based off of this reaction, you can do a lot more out of this, right? It's a fake here, and I think it's a called fake all the way, but guys in the booth, right, Matt Weiss will understand, okay, what's the reaction here? Who's reacting to this? In this case, it's this defensive back coming up here. So it maybe doesn't create the window that they really wanted. Maybe they were expecting the outside wide receiver to get here because you have a guy over the top, but really get the reaction here. But because of this fake, they're then looking for, they can sell this sort of stalk block with these two outer wide receivers. And then after you fake, right, you kind of go up the seam and look for this window right here, right? So credit Iowa for being prepared for this, right? Or I'm sorry, I actually drew that wrong. So it's actually kind of a wheel concept. So you are going to get this stalk, but he's going up here he's going to stalk and then kind of go out on a wheel route. So you're looking for Ronnie Bell here. It's my mistake. He runs this pretty well, right? He's selling that block. You can just kind of look at the hand here for Ronnie Bell. How often does he do that, right? Because this guy is running up here, because you have this fake, this is pretty convincing based on all the other looks that Michigan has shown here that this is going to be a block. Then when he goes out here, right, the goal here is that this route will take out this defensive back. He's also releasing inside, right? Get him to turn inside and really commit to running this way, to where if he has to rotate back to the outside for this window, it's not really possible, at least for this guy. But you give credit to that defensive back for doing exactly that, right? He fades just enough. He doesn't fully commit to that, right? He passes him off. Iowa's in his zone. He passes off to the safety here. And number 3, DeJean, I believe that's who this is, does a really good job staying in this area, right? And you could argue maybe there's a window here to the sideline, right? Will he really be able to backpedal, turn his hips, and run and compete on this pass? But it's scary enough, right? That's scary enough, especially Iowa, knowing how many turnovers that they can create, that he'll be able to get there, right? So instead of doing that, JJ McCarthy recognizes, hey, he's kind of trapping me into this throw. He's baiting me into this throw and throws it into the open window, right? What's the downside of this? Downside is exactly what happened. Ronnie Bell didn't turn his head quick enough to recognize this, right? Didn't recognize where the ball was until right now. And he's too far upfield to really make a play on it. But look at where, who's going to intercept this, right? No one's intercepting this ball. If anyone's catching it, it's Ronnie Bell. And that's safe. And against Iowa and Iowa's offense, safe was the absolute just what you need to be against Iowa. Being safe against Iowa is a warm blanket, right? Tucks you in at night, gets you a win, gets you out of that pink locker room, and you feel nice and cozy on the bus back home. So it's just really good recognition by both that defensive back for Iowa to be ready for this, right? And be able to kind of rob this, and really good reading from JJ McCarthy to say, you know what, I'm going to throw it here where only my guy can make a play on the ball. So both sides, you got to give credit. And it's a good job from both teams, and you get away with another down here for Michigan, right? You don't ruin this good drive by trying to force it. Keep things going, tip your hat to the defense, live to see another down.
What I thought had happened watching live, and then especially when they started showing JJ and Bell communicating, I think Bell had an option at the top of that route, and JJ read it as he should be cutting out. And I don't know if he was, on a full out to the end zone, or if he was supposed to do a corner route or what, but it just a miscommunication. I think JJ expected Bell to cut there, and he just kept going to the end zone, or, I'm not sure, but the way they were communicating, you could tell that Bell made a bad choice there. I think he even patted his chest at one point, but
yeah, I saw them kind of there was a little bit of frustration on his face. I'm trying to pull up the footage now of that. Yeah, he's kind of looking, right? He turns back. He's like, oh,
why'd you throw it there? Yeah. See how he even motions out? Like I could have gone forward. Yeah.
Right. So. Yeah. So maybe, he didn't see what JJ McCarthy kind of saw, but you can see they're kind of talking about that, trying to figure that out. But hey, sometimes you got to do a little bit different based on what the defense is doing. Things are going to, things are going to not always go the way you want to, and you adjust. All right, moving on to this next play here, 2nd and 10. Really nice burst out of Donovan Edwards, looking like Corum there with a little jump, that little hesitation here, right? And I really like this little hesitation. Just gives a little bit extra time for your blocks to develop, especially with his split flow that you kind of get out of Schoonmaker, right? So you get a little hesitation there. That allows Schoonmaker to kind of hit that hole here, and it forces the linebackers to commit, right? Because he takes that extra time in the backfield, the linebackers really have to commit to a hole. So it's good vision, because you got your backside linebacker here. He's committing to this B gap, it looks like right here. Give time for Schoonmaker to get through the hole right here. It doesn't actually he doesn't actually really block anything. He's just kind of helping on this left tackle block. But good release here from Oluwatimi to the linebacker. And again, look at where everyone is right now, right? The only guy who's really falling off, Trevor Keegan, has the defensive tackle right here. He's going to fall off late, but at the time that the defensive tackle does disengage, Donovan Edwards is already bursting his way through the hole, right? And that's exactly what you want. So just enough of a crease, and that's what talent can get you, right? When you're fast enough, you can get by, maybe some what I would call a B block, right? You don't need A+ blocking all the time, but all you need is a B block. Get there enough, and you're off to the safety level here on this play. So it's a good job finding that crease for Donovan Edwards, right? Based on where the split flow is going for Schoonmaker, right? You would expect him to kind of follow that, but he recognizes that crease that's kind of forming off of your right guard, right? So it's a really nice job identifying that, hey, this backside linebacker has committed himself here. He sees this crease kind of forming, probably sees the linebacker also filling this gap. So he sees, got a block here, got a block here. There's a little crease forming right there. And this is just nice, patient running. If you're Donovan Edwards, gets his way through, and you're looking pretty good there for close to a first down right away. And you're set up 3rd and short once again.
Donovan's a better Edwards. Donovan's a better runner than he gets credit for. I know we haven't seen a ton of it at Michigan yet. But yeah, that burst. And then again, just from a script standpoint, the tendency showing here, the edge is trying to run contain here. He's not going to let JJ get outside. Campbell's running. He's running with Schoonmaker, completely takes himself out of the play. And then again, Michigan showing we're going to run it up the middle. Donovan Edwards is healthy, right? Just another play with another look to keep Iowa on their toes.
Right. And it's a good call out. You see the tight end coming this way. That's a pretty big reaction out of your linebacker, right? Again,
that's a good linebacker. This isn't Hawaii. That's an NFL talent linebacker that hit on that hard.
Yeah, and that sets up your center so well on this block, right? Because he's following this so hard. When you got Oluwatimi releasing to second level, take advantage of that, right? He's reacting really hard here. Boom, you're setting him up, and that
he did him a favor. Olu's like, okay, let me just put you over here, bud.
Absolutely. Yep. And again, 2nd and 10, you're behind schedule a little bit with that first down incompletion. Guess what? Now you're 3rd and short. You're right back where you need to be.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, and this is the play of the game for me. I lost my mind watching this live. It was my favorite play by far. It is evil. All right. Pure evil, this play. And I don't know what to do as a defense moving forward against this. Okay. Why do I say it's evil? How do you react to this tight end, right? What did we just see the linebackers do when they saw this sort of split flow out of a tight end? Schoonmaker, same guy, right? He's coming across. You're pulling Keegan as well, right? What do you do if you're a linebacker and you see that, right? 99,000 times out of 100,000, this is a run this way, right? In what world would it be anything else when you're pulling both of these guys, right? Michigan has run so many orbit motion, just kind of eye candy, right, going this way. When you see pullers, when you see pulling guys, that's going to tell you more often than not where the ball is going. So let's key in on this before we even look at any blocks here. Boom. Right there's the initial move there. Look at where the linebackers are going, and ideally look at the eyes as well. Right, they've seen this pull. They see this pull as well. Where are the eyes? They're all looking inside. Boom, eyes here. Boom, looking inside. Eyes here. Boom. They're all focused on where this is going now. That initial reaction, right? You see the initial eyes. Boom. They see those pulls. You see those pulls and they're reacting, right? They're moving. The only guy who knows what's going on is number 3 here. That's it. You're done, right? They're still moving. Watch how long, because this is the key guy. He's going to pretend like it's split flow here, and boom, he's your lead blocker on this orbit give off of this fake, right? But watch the linebacker specifically and how long it takes before they realize that the ball's not going that way, right? Boom, only right now. And look at this is exactly middle of the field right here, right? This is where your center was. And these linebackers are all dead to rights, right? Look at the wall forming here. Look at your offensive linemen working upfield, forming this wall. These guys are all done, right? You are not going to be able – well, that's the defensive back, so don't worry about him anyway. But these guys are all done. These are your 3 linebackers. You know, if you move back, look at where they were. And then now look at where they are. Just crazy. So I think my favorite thing about this play is the only way to defend against this is not trusting your eyes. In what world do you see this guy going this way and you expect him to be a lead blocker? Never seen it before. I've never seen that before. So moving into like this other view here, right? You can see just how well now Michigan is set up with your offensive linemen this far. Look how much depth they have against anything backside. Your wide receiver blocking continues to be elite on the outside. And now you got Schoonmaker, really good tight end. it's got to be sad for Iowa for Michigan to have this good of a tight end leading the way in all this open field, and you're not even going to worry about this guy in the backfield, right? So, I mean, one of the more beautiful plays I've ever seen schemed up with Michigan's tendencies with split flow. And you just can't set it up any better than that. It's truly the best play I think I've seen out of split flow, to show that, to do that little pull and then turn around lead on the end around. They've been prepping this in practice, ready to pull it out, ready to just absolutely hand blast the team. And to do it against Iowa is really funny, because it's like the most flashy blocking play that I've ever seen out of a tight end. So it's
Osentoski,
evil.
I'm gonna blow your mind, buddy.
Do it.
Go to the look from behind the line.
Sure.
A way to pretend Luke Schoonmaker is Eric All and Ronnie Bell is AJ Henning. Do you not recognize this play?
I don't.
Ohio State, man.
Oh,
Just go in the opposite direction.
You're right.
Yep. I couldn't believe they pulled this out against Iowa.
You're right. Oh, that's so evil.
It's the same play, man. Going the other direction. Henning was going to the right. But yeah, the reverse action from the tight end, like you said, going completely opposite of what the offensive linemen are blocking for. And every play that we've talked about script-wise leading up to this, right? The quorum play, the motion, all of it has left Iowa completely clueless. So you finally go to a look where, like you said, what in the world are they going to do? And you've been teasing them this entire drive with every possibility.
Right.
And you bust out this crate. Look at that. The reason I knew is I can remember Cade doing almost the same thing.
Yeah.
In terms of the style of that pitch. But yeah.
Oh,
man.
I did not know. That's a great call out. I did not know that they ever did that. I must have been celebrating too hard to not notice the tight end, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll have to look at it again. I don't remember if All did the complete turn like that.
Yeah.
I think he did something similar. But yeah, it's the play, man.
It's so evil, because again, how do you
I'm texting you right about the part where Bell gets to the 5-yard line, and I'm like, that's the best drive I've seen all year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But how do you defend against this, right? The only way to defend against this is, like, you can't tell your linebackers, right? You can't tell them, hey, this guy might turn around, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. You can't teach them that. Yeah. So it's just such a great play, because now you have to account for this, right? You have to say, like, hey, if this guy's in orbit motion, shift your eyes here. He might turn around. And it's like, what are you, like, are you crazy, coach? Have you gone insane? Like, how are we even going to do that? Because then when Michigan runs regular split flow, right, and they're actually just pulling Keegan and they're running split flow here, and this is a fake, right? Your linebackers might be late next time if they're trying to watch their eyes and see if this guy's going to turn around, right? You feel like a crazy person on defense trying to consider all these different possibilities. And that's what makes, if you're trying to find like a speed in space sort of deal, right? Gaddis isn't here anymore, but this is what it is. So it's just really, really fun to have this in the playbook. And now I'm going to go back and watch the 42-27 Ohio State game over and over again.
I'm watching it right now. The only difference is they had All lined up like an H-back to the left of Cade. Gotcha. He came forward and then he bolted to the right, but otherwise it's pretty much the same play. So
yeah, it's fun, man. That's really cool.
So again, best offensive drive I've seen all season. Yeah. I think they set up a lot of things that they could do to Iowa throughout the game. I know some people aren't happy. We talked about that early, that they wanted Michigan to score even more, and they could have set them up for more, but Iowa wins when you turn the ball over.
Yep.
And Michigan made a decision to win the game the way they won the game. And I know there were some lulls in the middle with the offense. They didn't look great. But the only time Iowa scored, except for when Michigan's running prevent on the last drive of the game, is when they gave them a short field. So they're going to stay on schedule. They're going to get the points they got. And again, maybe they're setting up all their future opponents as well with this first drive, right? You cover in Iowa City, you're happy. Could they have maybe built off of more of this from this first drive? Sure. But I mean, who cares, right?
Yeah. Touchdown's a touchdown.
So we got the defensive, right?
Yep. So now we're shifting to the final, or I'll call it the clincher, the clinching drive on
game
defense.
Clinching drive on defense. Absolutely.
Yep. So this is Michigan, kind of turtled a few 3 and outs here. punt the ball away, starting at the 42 here with about 4 minutes left. Michigan's confident here that Iowa's not going to be able to score 14 points in 4 minutes. I don't know if they have not done that this year, 2 offensive drives to score 14 points in that amount of time. Pretty confident about that, right, with how Iowa's done this year. So that's what Michigan's betting here. They're saying, hey, let's trust our defense. Let's get off the field. And right away on first down, I mean, they are picking on this right tackle over and over and over again. First thing that jumps out here is just the reaction time of Mike Morris. Really well timed here. By the time that right tackle is getting out of his stance, Mike Morris already has a clear step on him. And really, I mean, you can analyze the plays here, right? This is just Michigan understanding that Iowa has to throw the ball, right? Have to throw their ball. So you can kind of throw caution at the wind, right? You look at the routes here; they're all pretty deep, right? They're all running off the screen here, and it's going to take a bit for this to develop, right? And I mean, there's nothing more really to say except Mike Morris is a man, and he just completely demolishes 77 that right tackle. And if you're getting depth at 7-8 yards, that's what you want. Anything deeper than that, you allow the quarterback to step up. There's no time here for Petras to step up. He's still in his 5-step drop, right? He shifted his eyes from over here initially. Now he's looking to the right side here, trying to figure out what he has. But really, these guys aren't even getting to the breaks in their route, right? You got man coverage. There's nothing to see here. And when you got a 290-pound guy like Mike Morris barreling down on you like that, yeah, you're not going to be able to do much. So give a lot of credit for Mike Morris getting off the ball, just completely sprinting around. He kind of ducks away the hands initially, right? There's kind of a 2-step move here. You can see him kind of shuck down the hands, boom, shuck away the hands, and then watch the rip with his right arm there, boom, rip through. And just really bad footwork, really tall. 77 here is. Footwork's not good. He's really tall, doesn't get any engagement, and that's just pretty much a clear path to Spencer Petras. So give him a lot of credit, man. Defense needed to come up big here, and he started off this drive with authority.
This is where Michigan thrived last year, pass obvious situations.
Yep.
I know some people were hoping Michigan would have sent more after Petras earlier in the game, but this is the first time where we know, like you said, they need to try and move down the field quicker than they ever have, right? So Mike Morris and Okie, thing sticks out to me right away is how wide they are on the line. And then this push by Jenkins is awesome. And Mozzie kind of sets him up for future plays here, that little foot shuffle to get by his guy. And then obviously, the guard that was failed the double team Morris now comes over for a quick knock on Mozzie. But all 4 guys do a good job here. Okie gets chipped a little bit, but it's just pink. This is the best Mike Morris's looks all year. Like, that was the most hutch play he's made. Just get outside wide and just beat your dude.
Yeah. And one thing I do like about Okie here is he understands there's going to be a little bit of a gap here. If he goes true outside, right, against a quicker quarterback, you could have this little avenue forming. So he does a good job recognizing, hey, I'm going to go here and just kind of keep contained here. So there is no outlet. So
absolutely,
if for whatever reason Spencer Petras didn't, get tackled here, if you have Ayabi Okie still continuing to the outside, there's an avenue here. So it's a good job from Okie understanding.
Already working back inside.
Yeah, that there's going to be a gap here. Understand that, hey, you can't make a sack every play. Understand that there's gap integrity here, even when it's a clear passing down. Don't let them that escape valve and shut that down. Yep. All right, 2nd and 19. So time running off the clock, right? And now you're even in a more advantageous position from a pass rushing position because you need to go deep, right? You need yards. And this is your Aiden Hutchinson impression if you're Mike Morris, right? Again, who's the victim? It's 77. I don't know if Michigan knew that this is the guy to pick on and just send the pressure, or Mike Morris was possessed by Aiden Hutchinson, but he's going to feign outside, right? What happened on the last play? Just a clear outside rush. 77's probably thinking, can't get beat outside, right? Use that to your advantage. That was one play ago. He's probably going to be setting out a little bit quicker. Fake that same move, rip inside, and he makes another play, right? There's a little outside. You can see 77. Look at that just extra step here from 77. He's really working outside, right? He's having flashbacks here. And then you got a check down of the arms there, a little swim move, and good luck, right? Look at all you need is just a screen cap of this. Look at the hips where they're pointed. and look at the path here for Mike Morris, right? So this is just working upon your last play, right? You absolutely demolished that first play. And how did you demolish, right? It was an outside move. He's probably thinking about that a little bit. Set him up. Work to the inside. What's your change up? Boom, right? Good job from Chris Jenkins as well, right? He also kind of tips that ball, even if this was well thrown. Chris Jenkins, really good recognition, right? Look at his eyes. He sees number 4, Williams, going out here. Good recognition from Mike Barrett as well. So even if this is completed, they both recognize where this ball is going and work over there. So it's a good job from 3 players there to really sniff that out, even if it's completed, not looking at more than a couple yard gain. But I mean, I think the other aspect of this is your quarterback just can't be accepting hits like this without feeling it, right? It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt after a while. So it's 2 plays in a row where he gets smacked and Peters is on the floor and he's not feeling good. And defense is now really feeling, amped up. It's 2 plays in a row where you dominate if you're Mike Morris. Time to pin your ears back, man. All right, you ready for third down?
Yeah, good call on Jenkins. I didn't notice that before. He did make a great play there.
Yeah, that's smart, man. Keep your eyes up. If you can't get to the quarterback, where's the ball going, right? You can always redirect. You can make a play without getting to the quarterback. But you know what? Okie says, I'm going to get to the quarterback. I'm going to tear him down. I'm going to show that, I've only been on campus for a few weeks, but I'm going to make an impact here. And it's just crazy backing up here. Look at how wide his splits are. I don't know how he gets there this fast, right? He is standing up here and he somehow makes up that distance really quick. And
I don't think there's a shade for that.
No way.
That's not 9. He is so far out there.
Yeah. And really, I mean, they are again picking on 77. It's the same guy over and over. And it's kind of fun. Like they're
Do you have the close up of him grab? Yes. This is unbelievable.
Well, just the dip right here, right? He kind of fakes high. Like, I don't know what this fake even really is from Okie, but he kind of holds his hand up and then he just kind of dips under. It's very, very like a Josh Uche sort of bend right there, right? How do you get that low and then to continue to have that strength, right? Should be called a hold. Like, you're not allowed to do that if you're an offensive lineman, but he still gets both hands on it, right? So he's holding with his left. He's holding the shoulder pad, pulling the jersey, but that right hand is also on the arm. It's crazy. It's crazy he's able to pull this back.
One arm, man. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Have that strength. And then, I mean, give a lot of credit to Upshaw here as well, right? He assists on that, also making life really awkward for that offensive lineman who's like, what's going on? 76 doesn't know what's going on. Jalen Harrell's getting involved. So, yeah, man, give a lot of credit here for Okie for holding on. Just a lot of strength to hold on. He's still holding
on. It's unbelievable.
So he does a lot there. And again, it's that bend. It's just getting that bend around here from those splits to get there that fast. Again, you're looking for about 7-8 yards. That's about, where you can make a play. Sometimes you can make it work at 9, but right there he is at, what is that? The 24-yard line, and the ball was at 33, right? So he's right around the 8-9 yard line where he's making that bend. And that's exactly where you want to be. So it's a really nice job able to dip that shoulder, get under it, still getting held. And then give a lot of credit for Upshaw for just pushing into the quarterback as well. So,
yeah, one of Upshaw's better games. He's kind of struggled early. I guess that's the closest thing Michigan's going to run to a NASCAR package this year, moving him inside because, he's kind of a tweener with that defensive tackle ability.
Yep.
And then Mozzie's just not coming off the field.
No.
Like, his snap, to have him have the highest snap count at defensive tackle when he's dealing with that every play, Again, I do a lot of analytical stuff during the week, and he doesn't necessarily jump out at that. He's just an example of, there aren't numbers to measure the impact of him wearing down the offensive line and never coming off the field.
Great point. Him going right here, right? When you have a guy like Okie who's starting to come on a little bit, at some point they're going to have to start committing resources to a guy like Mike Morris or Okie coming off the edge, right? If they want to continue putting 2 guys on Ozzie Smith, so be it. But you're going to get plays like this, right? Eventually, they're going to say, you know what, we need to, start chipping this guy or committing 2 guys to help on the edge. And guess what? It's going to free up your refrigerator up the middle, and he's going to make a play when he's not doubled like this. So him just being there, that presence opens the door for a lot of other athletes like you said. So that's a great call out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, final play here. 4th and 24. You're feeling pretty good. And Michigan, again, look at the splits for Ayabioki. Just super wide, right? 77. Can't be feeling good after those first 3 plays. And Michigan dials up a beautiful stunt here and gets home once again. Poor Spencer Petras. All right. Let me see what angle I have here. So, yeah, really nice job here from Mozzie Smith. The eyes are out here, right? Mozzie Smith's whole objective here, shoot this gap. Get both of these guys blocking you. Occupy them for as much space as possible. What happened on the last time? Yabioki went flying to the outside. He's going to fake this, loop around here, right? You're committing really 4 guys here if you're Iowa. Look at the eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're 2-on-2. All you really need to do is fool them, right? Get these 2 guys committed. Just shoot that gap, right? What were they doing on the last play? They were both at a double team against Mozzie Smith. Shoot that gap, right? Guard is now committed. Look at the hips of 70, right? Look at that reach, right? He doesn't even really need to do anything except continue on this path. As long as 70 is still committed here, keep going. Run into the tackle, occupy them both for as long as possible. Your running back is going out on a route, and good luck, right? Ayabioki, right now, he's looping around. Can you really expect number 70 to react to that? No chance, right? He's trying to pass him off to the right tackle. He eventually does, but by the time, right, that he recognizes, oh, crap, there's a guy looping inside, look at all that space, right? That's way too much space. And Ayabioki is just on his way to feast in the backfield. That's exactly what happens. So well-timed. I recognize that all of this is on one side, right? I don't know why they weren't giving 77 help at this point, but they're picking on that side of the line, and that's scouting. That's understanding that, hey, when we're sending Mike Morris, we're sending him against 77. Once he, gets home 2 plays in a row, needs a breather, we're saying our next guy, Ayabioki, against that same side, right? And that's just smart. You're wearing out one guy. You're picking on.
He's so much faster than everyone. Like, I can't help it. Like, that's just.
Yeah, and that just hurts, man. This is a painful hit if you're Spencer Petras. I give him a lot of credit for still getting the ball off there. But that's it, man. That's how you end emphatically. A bit of a lackluster 4th quarter, I would say, or just kind of a snoozer, right? Offense isn't really trying too much. You're kind of just looking to bleed clock in this game. You need a series from your defense to kind of emphatically close it out. And I don't know for better plays to do that than what Michigan showed here. So that's how you do it, man. That's fun.
What a great thing to build off of.
Yeah.
And we've been looking at like I said, we've been looking at the analytics and kind of calling on Oki to get a bigger role. Understand he came in halfway through fall camp. He's got some defensive scheme and calls and things he's got to learn. But I think there's a formula here where Mike Morris is going to be in that Hutchinson type role. I think Upshaw is probably going to step back and settle more into a role like he had last year, like we saw on this last drive here, where he can move inside. Jalen Harrell is still being dedicated heavily to the run game. He can do some pass rushing. Oki, I said when he first came, if he can be that 3rd down Uche guy, but he's looking like that and more. He's looking like the Ajabo role on the pass rush.
Absolutely.
He's just going to need more time. The group's going to have to get better working together. But, man, those 4 plays, just incredible. And the way the sideline was reacting and, again, the clinching. And I think it's a great thing to build off as they head to, Indiana now, obviously. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, Toski, great job, man. I was looking forward to this one. Those two possessions were so awesome. Man.
Yeah, really fun, really good drive on both sides. And I think it's just about building off of that, right? How can you replicate that a little bit more frequently on the defensive side? Obviously, on the offense, a lot of that, probably was scripted.
Yes.
We saw a lot of great plays again, but I think it's really fun to look at how the offense is learning from that, right? And how the offense learns and really gains intel from the defense reaction to a lot of that first drive. And then, for this defense, right, it's nice to just know that they're capable of it, right? And that's just about being more consistent. That's it. Being more consistent and showing that pass rush is there and that you can turn that on when you really need to.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I caught myself. Somebody brought it to my attention with the Olu and Vistardis, comp that I had mentioned earlier in the show here, we got to stop comparing this team to how Michigan finished last year. And if we do want to compare them to last year, for obvious reasons, trying to defend the Big Ten championship, let's think about where they were at week 5 at this point last year. This was Ojabo's first game with a sack against Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Last year, he had 0 sacks in the first 4 games. So what Okie and Morris just did there, again, they're not Aiden Hutchinson. They're not David Ojabo. They're not the same players. But if they can do that and Michigan can rotate in some guys, we'd even talk about Derek Moore, Braden McGregor, still the potential for them to have a role in there. So, again, am I ready to say the pass rush is back? No, but that is intriguing. And I'm excited to see what they do against Indiana.
Absolutely.
All right. So, good spot to wrap up. So, again, guys, thank you for watching. Really enjoy this program. We'll kind of decide what we do for Indiana based on how the game goes, but make sure, obviously if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, get the new notifications so you know when we do go live. We always do this live. Obviously, if you're not watching it live, it's on the channel right after as well. So Osentoski, has anything else to add?
No.
Good to go, brother. All right.
Undefeated. Feels good. Keep it going.
5-0. Absolutely. All right. Thank you, guys. We will see you hopefully around the same time next week. Highlights from Michigan at Indiana.
Go Blue.